Chapter 31. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. The mushrooms in this season were much better than when she and young Xiao came by. Many of them were just growing along the road, and those were the ones that could be eaten. Ning Mengyao plucked one by one and put it on her back basket. Until the back basket could not be filled anymore, Ning Mengyao then prepared to go back. On the road down the mountain, Ning Mengyao once again met Xiao Tianchong who, like before, had some praise in his hand. Xiao Tianchong had seen Ning Mengyao way earlier but he did not go over. Now, seeing her walking towards him, he nodded at her direction and silently followed behind to go down the mountain. The person behind following without making any sound made Ning Mengyao felt strange and tilted her head to see the person behind. When going back, can you sell me some of your hunts? She suddenly thought of the beef sauce she made before and wondered if it was replaced with rabbit meat or pheasant meat, would the taste be even better? Okay. After saying simple sentences, both of them did not continue to speak and Xiao Tianchong kept on observing Ning Mengyao. This was probably the most beautiful girl he had met, not because of her physical beauty but because of the air she carried. It was the most outstanding he had ever seen. The two of them quietly walked down the mountain and came to Ning Mengyao's exquisite courtyard. I want 2 wild rabbits, 2 pheasant. How much are they? Ning Mengyao put her back basket to the side and raised her head to look at Xiao Tianchong. That kind of slightly tilting her head made Xiao Tianchong a bit dazzled. His eyes slightly flashed and lowered his head to say. 201 BNOL.M. Wait a moment. She turned to enter her room and when she came out, her hand carried not little copper coins and handed over to Xiao Tianchong. Xiao Tianchong received the copper coins and gave his fattest and biggest praise to Ning Mengyao. Seeing the 4 fat and big praise on the ground, Ning Mengyao was a bit helpless. These were worth more than 201, she really got it good. Turning her head and seeing Xiao Tianchong who was leaving, Ning Mengyao's heart had some misgivings. She should give him some of the sauce she would be making. Thinking like that, Ning Mengyao no longer fussed over this matter and instead began seriously cleaning the praise, although she left out 1 pheasant. After cleaning up the rest, Ning Mengyao took the jar she had just bought and thoroughly cleaned it, then started making rabbit meat sauce. After being busy for a whole day, she finally made the 2 rabbits and 1 pheasant into meat sauce. Done with this, Ning Mengyao tasted it and thought it was not bad. Although it could not compare to cow meat sauce, but it possessed some other flavor. Putting the meat sauce carefully, Ning Mengyao took out 2 small jars and divided the sauce into them. She was planning to send some to Yang Luli's house and Xiao Tianchong. Yang Lulu took the meat sauce Ning Mengyao sent her with some embarrassment. Yao Yao, this. It's for you to take. Ning Mengyao put the jar at a side and stared dissatisfiedly at Yang Lulu. That kind of posture let Yang Lulu could not help but to laugh. Right, Yao Yao, do you want to go to the town? My embroidery is done. Fine, let's go together. Mine is also done. Yang Lulu immediately nodded her head, planning to wait until the children were on break before sending her embroidery and then bought some embroidery threads back home. For the past few days, Ning Mengyao did not see Xiao Tianchong going down the mountain and gradually forgot about his meat sauce. Today, the children were on a break. Ning Mengyao brought Yang Lulu to Luo Yun Pavilion. When they entered, Aunt Luo was introducing products like before. Seeing the 2 girls entering, she immediately greeted them. Both of you has come, ah. The piece of embroidery screen Ning Mengyao sent, she did not sell it yet. There were many people wanting to buy and the prices they offer was not low, but she did not sell it out, leaving it had its own advantages. Aunt Luo. Ning Mengyao and Yang Lulu greeted. Ning Mengyao put her own embroidery screen out and Aunt Luo's eyes lit up with a glance. This one was not similar to the previous one but it was equally amazing. Fixed price is 150 liang. Because of the result of last time's embroidery, Aunt Luo immediately gave Ning Mengyao more of 50 liang price. This let Yang Lulu widen both her eyes. 100 liang and still rising. Don't look anymore. Let Aunt Luo see yours and give you some pointers. Seeing Yang Luli's wide eyes staring at her and Aunt Luo, Ning Mengyao teasingly spoke out. Yang Lulu felt kind of embarrassed and rubbed her nose, then laughed hee hee. She put her pillow cover and other works out. Aunt Luo checked them one by one and felt that they were all very good, then gave Yang Lulu a certain evaluation. Very good. At the end, Yang Luli's 6 pieces of bridal veil altogether sold for 30 liang, letting Yang Lulu thoroughly made a dumb expression. It was that much. Lulu, you must learn diligently from Meng Yao, so you can make high-class embroidery sooner. Aunt Luo saw Yang Luli's stupid look and could not help but laugh. Chapter 32. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper taking the 30 liang Aunt Luo gave, Yang Lulu hurriedly nodded her head. She knew that she could sell this hide was because of Ning Mengyao. These past few days, she kept on learning embroidery from Ning Mengyao. The place she did not do well, Ning Mengyao would point them out and it produced the results now. Aunt Luo, I will. Yang Lulu seriously nodded her head. Yang Lulu turned her head and saw the person beside her who was earnestly picking out embroidery threads. Her eyes were slightly moist. She was obviously a very cold person but treated her this well, making her heart warm. Aunt Luo, I still want to take a few back to make. Can you tell me what I can take? Yang Lulu tidied up the marks on her hand and spoke to Aunt Luo with a smile. Aunt Luo pondered over it and took out something that was the same kind with bridal veil, but this was more tedious than the previous one. With one look, it was obvious that a request from a big family. Seeing these things, Yang Lulu was at a loss. Aunt Luo, can I really do this? Be confident in yourself. There is Meng Yao, so you definitely can do it. Aunt Luo patted Yang Luli's hands and smiled as she comforted her. At the beginning, it was because of Ning Mengyao did she treated Yang Lulu well, but now, it was because of Yang Lulu herself. She was a malleable talent and her personality was not bad either, making friends with her was not a problem. Taking the bridal veil Aunt Luo gave, Yang Lulu smiled to her, then went to pick embroidery threads, leaving with Ning Mengyao after. Leaving Luo Yun Pavilion, Yang Lulu took 20 liang out of the 30 she earned to give it to Ning Mengyao. Don't say to me that you are not in a hurry to use. Yao Yao, now that my family has silvers, although my brother's medicines need much money, but I can earn money now, so I will return to you some, please don't you mind it. Yang Lulu said embarrassedly. The rest 10 liang, she wanted to use it to buy Yang Yi's medicine and some fishes and bones back home. In addition, there was also her nephew's ink to buy. Ning Mengyao saw Yang Luli's earnest expression and could only helplessly receive the 20 liang in her hands. Fine. If you need something, tell me. Of course, I will not be miserly with you. The two girls smiled and laughed at the street, but such a scene was witnessed by the town's 2 hooligans. 2 girls actually carried that much money. If they stole them, then they could be unrestrained for a while. Thinking of this, the 2 of them tailed Ning Mengyao and Yang Lulu. Ning Mengyao's footsteps slowly faltered, her line of sight stealthily looking at behind her, and then pulled Yang Lulu to buy their necessities. After spending around an hour, both of them finished buying the things they wanted. Yao Yao, how about you go to my house to eat? Yang Lulu looked at Ning Mengyao and invited her. Okay. When both girls walked to a much less crowded place, 2 men appeared hindering their path and used a shady expression that made people feel nauseated to look at them. Yang Lulu subconsciously put Ning Mengyao behind her and stared at them vigilantly. What do you want? What do we want? At first, we only want your money, but now, seeing how pretty both of you are, not getting some pleasure will make us feel wronged. One of them rubbed his jaws, looking at them with lewd eyes. This kind of undisguised staring angered Yang Lulu until her face became red, then turned to say to Ning Mengyao. Yao Yao, be careful. Find an opportunity to run. Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Lulu deeply. She understood what she meant to say. Yang Lulu wished that she run alone by herself. Stretching out her hand to pat Yang Lulu's, Ning Mengyao said. Let's go. Her one hand carried her things and the other pulled Yang Lulu's hand, wanting to leave from beside the two people. The two hooligans saw that Ning Mengyao disregarded them and became angry, then stretched out to hit Ning Mengyao. When Yang Lulu exclaimed in surprise, Ning Mengyao suddenly let go of Yang Lulu's hand as well as the things she was holding. Yang Lulu was busy catching the things thrown in her way and leaning backwards. Yang Lulu heard a tragic sound. Chapter 33. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Following that, Yang Lulu saw that Ning Mengyao, who seemed soft and weak, held out her hand and flung that hooligan to the side. Seeing this scene with wide eyes and open mouth, Yang Lulu subconsciously rubbed her eyes. She only had one feeling, and that was whether or not her eyes blurred. If not, how could she have seen the seemingly weak Ning Mengyao was as if turning to another person? Ning Mengyao had no time to notice Yang Lulu's expressions and looked at the hooligan, who was trembling all over. Wanting to steal our money. Wanting to find us for pleasure. Then I will let you guys feel pleasured. As she talked, Ning Mengyao lifted her foot and stepped on the stomach of the hooligan, who was looking at her cautiously. The body of the hooligan was like a kite with snapped string and flew over. Ning Mengyao turned her head, then looked at Yang Lulu. Take the things and let's go. Yang Lulu dumbly nodded her head, carrying their things, and left. Until she walked to a crowded place did she notice that she was too much. How could she leave Ning Mengyao and go alone? When she wanted to go back, she heard high and low tragic calls and screams. Rogue, hit the rogue to death. Yang Lulu felt weird. How could there be a rogue? After she looked over, she hated she could not poke her pair of eyes blind. What on earth happened? How could there be two people running naked on the street? What are you looking at? The sudden voice by her startled Yang Lulu until she almost threw the things in her hand and turned her head to see the other person, then patted her chest. You shocked me. Your gut is so small. Let's go, we should head back. Ning Mengyao teasingly said. Yang Lulu turned her head and saw the fuss behind her and then looked at Ning Mengyao, although she did not ask anything in the end. You don't want to ask. I am actually more interested in the fact that you can do martial arts. Yang Lulu spoke with embarrassment. I can. I've been studying for a few years, for self-defense. Ning Mengyao stared blankly and then answered Yang Lulu's question lightly. Her eyes was a little shabby. The martial art she practiced was taught by Ling Luo because he said that he hoped she could protect herself well. Since then, she accompanied him practicing martial art together. Now, she could protect herself, but the person was unseen instead. Xiao Tianchang looked at the two leaving figures with eyes brimming with smile. When he saw that Ning Mengyao and Yang Lulu's way was barred, he originally wanted to go down, and because he was late one step did he saw the other side of the girl other than being refined. He could not help say that this side of hers truly fascinated others. What are you looking at, boss? The person beside Xiao Tianchang also looked at the floor below with his face carrying smiles. He was looking at below in surprise, but who knew that he did not see anything? Looking at the one beside him lightly, Xiao Tianchang's facial expression became faint and flung the guy an eye. What are you doing coming down here? Boss, can you not be like this? I am tired body and soul just to find you. That person looked at Xiao Tianchang sadly while muttering in dissatisfaction. Xiao Tianchang's expression became cold, his eyes dark and deep as he looked at him. Layan, have you forgotten the words I said to you? Layan stiffened and bent over the table, saying in a feeble manner. Boss, we all remembered, but we want to know why are you like this? Not only us, that person also wants to know. Tired, want to rest. Don't come searching for me again. Finished saying this, he got up and left. Layan wanted to cry but had no tears as he looked at the leaving Xiao Tianchang, his eyes carried fury. Damn it, it must be those people said something to boss and made boss ran to this kind of birds do not s place, moreover, did not let them come over to search for him. Xiao Tianchang did not thought that Layan actually ran to this place to find him. It seemed like that guys became impatient. Holding out his hand to massage his eyebrow, his eyes flashed with tiredness. Chapter 34 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper When Ning Mengyao and Yang Lulu went back home, they saw Yang Xiu'er with a whole face full of stiffness standing by the house gate by chance. Looking at Yang Xiu'er with indifference, Ning Mengyao ignored her and took out her key to open the gate and carried Yang Lulu inside. I've said it before, don't enter my house. When Yang Xiu'er wanted to enter, Ning Mengyao abruptly opened her mouth. Yang Xiu'er's expression stiffened and looked at Ning Mengyao as if she was wronged. Mengyao, I know my wrong already, why don't you forgive me? I will not do that kind of thing again. These past few days, Yang Xiu'er did not pass her days well because she was the cause that many of the village children not being able to study from Ning Mengyao. Although this matter was also the fault of those people, but they pushed all the blame onto Yang Xiu'er, causing her to be pointed everywhere she went. This kind of life, she had had enough. She thought hard and although she was unwilling, but she still apologized to Ning Mengyao because she was clear that only if Ning Mengyao forgive her, she could learn Ning Mengyao's skills and let those people to stop looking down at her. How you are has nothing to do with me, I've given you a chance. The first time she slandered her, Ning Mengyao did not say anything and pretend to not know about his matter. But Yang Xiu'er thought that she was easy to bully and did it a second time. Ning Mengyao was not stupid. She had only given 2 chances, there would be no more after. Yang Xiu'er stiffened and begged, Mengyao, I really know my wrongs. I was muddle-headed, so forgive me, alright. Lulu, let's go to your house. Ning Mengyao did not want to continue hearing Yang Xiu'er's words and putting aside things, she said that to Yang Lulu. Yang Lulu nodded her head and took her groceries then looked at Yang Xiu'er. Yang Xiu'er, don't take everyone as a fool and you're the only smart one. The reason why she did so today only needed a little while to understand. She did not truly want to apologize to Ning Mengyao, she still had some motive speaking to Ning Mengyao. Yang Lulu, you want to be friends with her only because of her money, right? Yang Xiu'er was put in an awkward spot because of Yang Lulu's words so she sneered at Yang Lulu with a glare. Yang Lulu speak as if she was high up and pure, but doesn't she harbor the same intention as her, YXE? Don't think everyone to be as dirty as you. Yang Lulu was angry at her but she did not let out any of it to surface on her expression. Ning Mengyao saw Yang Lulu like this and a smile flashed through her eyes. On Yang Lulu, she had never felt any ulterior motive. Yang Lulu had indeed gotten many things from her but the things she paid out was equal to them. Just like when they met those hooligans on the street. Yang Lulu did not want to escape on her own by let Ning Mengyao escape first. She believed that Yang Xiu'er would not be able to do this kind of thing. Yang Xiu'er might even push her into a pit. Yang Xiu'er did not respond for a while and when she did realize what happened, Ning Mengyao had locked the door and left with Yang Lulu. Watching their leaving backs while gritting her teeth, Yang Xiu'er hated Yang Lulu in her heart. If there was a chance that presents itself, then she would make Yang Lulu regret her actions. When Yang Lulu brought many things back home, Yang Zhu and the others furrowed their brows and reproached Yang Lulu. Lulu, how can you do this? Ning Mengyao's money is not brought by the wind. Yang Zhu thought that those things were brought by Ning Mengyao for her so he became unhappy. Yang Lulu speechlessly looked at her own dad and said in depression. I say, Dad, there are the things I brought using the money I earn myself. Madame Yang saw that her daughter was a bit strange. How much did your embroidery sold for? Moreover, why didn't you return some money to Meng Yao? Once Yang Zhu's reprimand ended, Madame Yang followed suit. That's right, Lulu. Yang Yi sat on the chair and looked at his own sister and frowned in disapproval. Yang Lulu looked at Ning Meng Yao with a wronged look and sadly said. Yao Yao, you see yourself, once you come to my house, I no longer have any standing here. Dad and Mom is yours, big brother is also yours. How pitiful I am. Yang Lulu spoke as she pretended to wipe non-existent tear. Chapter 35. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Ning Meng Yao was made happy by Yang Luli's attitude of, this treasure is tricking you, and patted her. Fine. What are you pretending for? Uncle Yang, Auntie Yang, you've blamed Yang Lulu wrongly. She had returned some to me. N. Lulu, tell mother how much money did your embroidery sell for this time? Madame Yang looked at her own daughter and opened her mouth in curiosity. Yang Lulu proudly raised 3 fingers. 3 silvers. Yang Luli's face blackened. Mother, am I that bad? Auntie Yang, this time, Yang Luli's embroidery sold for 30 liang. Ning Meng Yao smiled as she could not bear to continue watching. This made not only Madame Yang, but also Madame Qiao and Yang Zhu and Yang Yi father and son to widen their eyes and looked disbelievingly at Yang Lulu. Madame Qiao walked to Yang Luli's side and she was moved, asking, Lulu, is this true? That's right. I returned Yao Yao 20 liang and brought some things, there is 6 liang left. This is for you, mother. Yang Lulu gave the remaining money to Madame Yang. After giving the money to Madame Yang, Yang Lulu started to distribute the goods. There were Yang Ji's brush, ink, and papers, Madame Qiao and Madame Yang and Yang Zhu's clothes, while Yang Yi was only given food and medicine. Yang Yi looked at his sister with a pitiful look. Little sister, how about mine? Yang Lulu took the bones and fishes to Yang Yi. Big brother, these are yours. Yang Yi was stunned and the rest could not help but laugh. Madame Qiao looked at her little aunt and her heart felt a bit envious because she knew that Yang Luli's embroidery could be sold for such a high price was because Ning Meng Yao was teaching her. Even though her heart was a bit envious, but she had no other thought. Besides, little aunt was talented, she herself could get some benefit since her relationship with little aunt was not bad. Rubbing the cloth embroidered with flowers, Madame Yang was very happy. You silly girl. How can mother wear such excellent clothing? It is better if you are the one who wear it instead. Mother, Yao Yao will eat at our house today, why don't you prepare the dishes? Yang Luli's scalp tingled and pointed at Ning Meng Yao then spoke out. Once Madame Yang heard this, she took the groceries her daughter bought to the kitchen after saying, Meng Yao go play with Lulu for a while. Her voice had not disappeared and she had already rushed to the kitchen. Using me as a shield. Ning Meng Yao teasingly stared at Yang Lulu. That kind of gaze made Yang Luli's heart pulled cold strings and her eyes moved from right to left and repeating it again. In the end, she pulled a pitiful look to look at Ning Meng Yao. Isn't it because I have no other ways left? Yao Yao, don't be angry. Ning Meng Yao was actually not mad and only saw that kind of Yang Lulu was somewhat funny. Now, seeing that Yang Lulu was truly worried, she could not help but shook her head. Reaching out her hand and patting Yang Luli's head, Ning Meng Yao said, You are. Touching her head, Yang Lulu smiled dumbly while feeling embarrassed. If she did not do so, she won't know what her mother would do. Although their family conditions were better than other families these past few years, but it was only slightly better. If compared with those well-off families, their family could not be said to be better. In addition, Madame Yang and Yang Zhu gave the best of their things to Yang Lulu and Yang Yi. Now that there was Yang Ji, they gave the best things they had to their grandchild. Yang Lulu was not given. She currently possessed this skill, of course she wanted to let her parents to live in a better way. At least better than how they were before. Ning Mengyao saw that this family was warm and cared for each other, a smile blossomed on her face. This was how family should be. Uncle Yang, I have a proposition. Ning Mengyao looked at Yang Ji and suddenly said. Seeing that they were using puzzled expression to look at herself, she continued. Yang Ji is a talented child. You can send him to the town's private school to study. Yang Zhu and Yang Yi were stunned once they heard this. These past few days, Yang Ji always diligently studied under Ning Mengyao. They only wanted to let him to have more skills and did not think that Ning Mengyao would say this. Yao Yao, is this true? Compared to the father and son duo, Ong Lulu was more happy than surprised. Her nephew liked to study, and if he could pass the provincial or county level of imperial examination, they as a family would be so proud. Their family was discretionary before, but now it was different. She had confidence that her nephew could do it. Chapter 36. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Ning Mengyao lightly nodded. The speed he studied words and counting is fast. Although he was the last to join, but aside from Liner, he was the best one among the students. That's good. We'll send Jier to a private school. Yang Lulu decisively clapped her hands without asking for the opinion of the two men. Hearing Yang Lulu's voice, Yang Zhu and Yang Yi regained their composure. There was a complicated gaze in Yang Yi's eyes as he looked at his sister. Lulu, we need a lot of money to be able to send Jier to a private school. So what about it? After this, our family's condition will get better and better. How could Yang Lulu not know that Yang Yi was thinking? So what? This was her nephew they were talking about. After he applied to a good school, won't she also feel prideful then? Ning Mengyao saw that Yang Yi still wanted to say something and laughed fleetingly. Big brother Yang, don't think too much about this. Actually, I kept wanting for you to help me about some matter after your wounds heals up. What is it? Management. Ning Mengyao's red lips lightly parted as she looked at Yang Yi and spoke out this word. The words management made Yang Loli's and her father's head to become stupid since they did not know what it meant. Ning Mengyao also did not explain, only smiling as she said. Big brother Yang will understand later on. All right. Yang Yi pondered over it, then nodded his head in agreement. It probably revolved around helping her, because she had helped his family many times and would not harm any of them. Since she would not be harming them, then it would be helping them. When they gathered around the table, Yang Yi told Ning Mengyao's words to his wife and Madame Yang. They were both ecstatic, especially Madame Chiao. She was even more grateful to Ning Mengyao and her sister. In law. After they've eaten, Ning Mengyao did not stay in their house for too long and went back home alone. On the way back home, she kept observing this village. She also met some of the children who used to study from her on the road, and regarding the gaze in their eyes, she had looked at all of them. But she only smiled and did not say anything. Passing by a house, Ning Mengyao heard a familiar voice. Male and female are different and should not be too intimate. Yang Chui, it is better if you go back home. Because of this familiar voice, Ning Mengyao curiously looked over. It was the hunter who sold her meat a few times. Tilting her head, she saw that beside his feet, there were pheasants and wild rabbits placed. After thinking about it, she decided to enter. Actually, when Xiao Tianchang went back home to see the daughter of his neighbor at his own house and also rummaging through his possessions, he felt dissatisfied and his face became horribly ugly. After seeing Ning Mengyao walking towards him, his eyes then carried some smile and left Yang Chui to greet her. Do you have any matter? Xiao Tianchang knew that his words were a bit too intimate, especially in the eyes of Yang Chui. Yang Chui was the most beautiful girl in the White Mountain village, and she was also delicate. Her family then brought her up to be like a daughter of a great family in hopes she could marry a good man. Yang Cui belonged to the type that view herself to be above others, thinking that no one in the village grew to be more beautiful than her, even the village head's daughter, Ong Lulu, was not comparable to her. She now suddenly saw a woman she had never met before who wore bright yellow clothes and her head carried two simple adornments, but the woman looked gorgeous. Not only that, she realized that when seeing Ning Mengyao, she had a feeling of self-depreciation. Especially in front that Ning Mengyao's refined elegance, she was like a hillbilly. I saw your praise when I passed by, so I want to buy a few of them. Ning Mengyao smiled and conveyed the meaning of her arrival. Xiao Tianchang's eyebrow slightly rose. The last time she bought that many, it could not be that all of them were eaten finished already. But this was not something he should worry about. How many do you want? 2 pheasants and 2 wild rabbits. Ning Mengyao lowered her head to see the praise and pointed at some of them. Picking the praise easily, he gave them to Ning Mengyao. She paid for the praise and prepared to leave while Xiao Tianchang was sending her off to the gates. Yang Cui saw Xiao Tianchang treating a woman this way and her face turned ugly, particularly when the other party was more beautiful than her. She muttered in a small voice. Shameless. Seducing a man at broad daylight. Not only Xiao Tianchang heard her words, even Ning Mengyao also heard it. Her steps halted when she was about to get out and turned her body around to see at the other woman with cold gaze. I did not break any law by buying praise, unlike young lady, you. You seem to have age already. Woman who is of age actually appeared at the home of a man, this is not good. You. Yang Cui, I hope that I won't be seeing you sneaking in my house, especially in the situation that I locked my door. Xiao Tianchang suddenly looked at Yang Cui and coldly warned her. These words were undoubtedly hitting Yang Cui's face in front of Ning Mengyao. She looked at Xiao Tianchang in disbelief. Big brother Xiao, you actually helped this woman. We are not familiar, so don't call me that intimately. Even if she's not here today, I will still say these to you. I don't want to defile your innocence, also want you to not embarrass yourself. Xiao Tianchang coldly added, not giving the woman any face at all. The words he spoke were like needles, directly piercing into Yang Cui's heart. Chapter 37. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Ning Mengyao glanced at the man beside her. She did not think that although his demeanor is cold, but his words were sharp. But she did not want to witness these here. If others did not know her personality, they might think that she was delighting in others' misfortune. It's just that, she wanted to leave, but the other person did not let her. When Ning Mengyao turned her back, Yang Cui hindered her path. You shameless woman, actually sow discord between mine and big brother Qiao's relationship. We're not finished. Ning Mengyao was impatient. Did she look like she was easy to bully? Or was it because this woman did not understand human language? What did she say just now? Now that woman was pushing all the blame onto her. Xiao Tianchang walked towards the two of them and pushed Yang Cui aside while lowering his head and said to Ning Mengyao warmly. You should go back first, don't mind her. He had seen too many of this kind of woman and he knew how to treat them, only he worried that she would bring trouble. Ning Mengyao nodded her head and took the pheasants and wild rabbit, preparing to leave, but Yang Cui still did not give up. She roused all the villagers so when they saw her, they pointed at her. Especially after hearing Yang Cui's words, which contained all kind of insults. Facing the crowd's points and blame, Ning Mengyao furrowed her eyebrows while Yang Cui acted like she was the victim, saying that Ning Mengyao was like that and like this. Hearing someone said that she was a temptress, Ning Mengyao's face became ugly. You say that I am seducing him. First, I did not, and even if I did, what does it have to do with you? Me and him are both single. What does an unmarried girl having good feelings to him had to do with you? Are you his wife or his fiancée copyright? What right do you have in interfering in others' matter? If it was the usual, she would not say these kinds of words, but she did say those, only to infuriate Yang Cui. From Xiao Tianchang's words, she could understand that he did not have any feelings to this woman. Everything was her imagination. Seeing Ning Mengyao was warm and soft, she thought that Ning Mengyao was easy to bully, also thinking that she would not say anything. Who would have thought that she would say those kinds of words? And no one could refute that. In the eyes of the people, Xiao Tianchang and Ning Mengyao were orphans. Even if they were together, there was nothing wrong with it. Ning Mengyao was beautiful while Xiao Tianchang was skilled. Not minding other factors, the two of them were really suitable for each other. Moreover, they never heard that Xiao Tianchang and Yang Cui had any kind of relationship. Xiao Tianchang was usually alone doing his things and did not have any form of occurrence with the villagers. The same went for his neighbor, Yang Cui and her family. Yang Cui's tearful complaints before, thinking about it now, was only hitting her own face. At this moment, Xiao Tianchang stood out, his gaze was ice-cold with no shred of emotion. Yang Cui, did you forget the words I said before? I had not relationship with you. It will be better that you don't climb the wall and enter my house ever again. Xiao Tianchang's words invited uproar among the crowd. They looked at Yang Cui in disbelief. She, a woman, actually climbed the wall and entered a man's house. No matter what, this was improper and, instead, she slandered other people when was the vile one. Yang Gunyang, I did not know that me buying wild praise break any of the laws and disturb you. You like him is your own matter, but dragging other people in is a problem of upbringing. If you want to get a good marriage, it is better for you to study the four virtues and upbringing. She, Ning Mengyao, never did feel that she was a good person like other people kicked her doors, she still reigned in fury and did not counter. The people surrounding them heard her words and understood what happened, especially after seeing the wild rabbits and pheasants in Ning Mengyao's hands. They knew that Ning Mengyao did not lack that bit of money, buying wild animals to eat at home was normal. But being bitten on and not letting go, it was unlucky. Facing the finger points of the crowd, Yang Cui's face was a moment green and a moment white, finally pointing Ning Mengyao while angrily declared. I'm not finished with you. Seeing Yang Cui who pushed the crowd aside to ran back home, Ning Mengyao's gaze was momentarily ice-cold. It was best if she did not anger her, if not, then don't blame her for not holding back. Chapter 38 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Yang Cui had walked away and since there was no more fun to watch, the crowd slowly ceased away. Xiao Tianchang lowered his head and said apologetically to Ning Mengyao. I am truly sorry for today. It's all right. I will go back first. Ning Mengyao took her things and left. BDNV Xiao Tianchang's warm expression went black the moment Ning Mengyao left. He turned his head to measure the house he bought and thought that he chose wrongly. If he knew earlier, he would not have only bought the house because he wanted to be practical, he should have rebuilt the whole house. After Yang Cui went back home, she smashed the things inside her room. Fortunately, there was nobody at home, if not, she would invite another trouble to herself. That damnable outsider. She actually dared to fight for men with me. Yang Cui gritted her teeth as her face slowly darkened, very much different with how she was in front of Xiao Tianchang. From the first time Xiao Tianchang arrived, she had always paid attention to him. Although he did not look like much, but as his neighbor, she was very clear. Every day, he would catch many preys and sold them at the town. In a day, he earned around 7 to 8 silvers. To the villagers, this was huge income. Moreover, he was handsome. This made her even more tempted. She had asked her parents before to test the intention of the man but he did not think twice before rejecting. This made her very angry. Even so, she could not help but still be crazy about him, especially when she knew that he was indifferent to all women. But what happened today overturned her knowledge regarding Xiao Tianchang. She thought Xiao Tianchang was like that to all women, but today, she realized that she was wrong. Although it was slightly different, she still could felt it. When seeing that woman, Xiao Tianchang's eyes were very warm and his mouth was lightly smiling. The gaze he used to look at her carried pampering. This was something she did not dare to think of, and now, it was stolen by an outsider. How could she let this be? Whatever that woman said, she would not agree. Originally, she thought that just using her own virtues, she could obtain Xiao Tianchang. But she did not think that she would get Xiao Tianchang's disgust instead. This was all Ning Mengyao's fault. Pondering about it, Yang Cui also felt that her actions were improper. Thinking about it now, when Xiao Tianchang came back and saw her inside his own house, his expression was definitely ugly. It was just that she neglected to notice this. Recalling it now, his expression back then was terrifying. On one hand, Yang Cui felt that her actions today were improper. On the other hand, she felt that it was Ning Mengyao who ruined her good matter. If Ning Mengyao did not appear suddenly, she would have succeeded. After thinking over it again and again, Yang Cui wholeheartedly hated Ning Mengyao. But she did not think about how to deal with Ning Mengyao. Instead, she thought of how to let Xiao Tianchang had good feelings about her all over again. When afternoon came, Yang Cui walked to the entrance of Xiao Tianchang's house and knocked on his door. Seeing Xiao Tianchang coldly standing there, Yang Cui said with embarrassment. "Big brother Xiao, I'm sorry about the thing before, I was wrong. Don't be mad at me, alright?" That lovely and innocent looks of hers could easily let other people have good opinion about her. Of course, Xiao Tianchang was not included in that group of people. "You're here just to say that." When young Cui came, she had thought of many different scenarios, such as Xiao Tianchang would let her in his house, or he would say it was alright, or other possibilities. Yet she did not think that he would be this cold. The words that were spoken made her did not know what to do next. Looking at Xiao Tianchang, Yang Cui's eyes became red and tears flew continuously. This made Xiao Tianchang became even more disdainful of her. Before Yang Cui opened her mouth, he immediately closed the door and then spoke. "If you want to cry, go back home to cry." Yang Cui, who was originally faking her tears, after hearing this sentence, cried for real. Her tears continuously went downward, but Xiao Tianchang was no longer seen. Chapter 39. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper. Arriving back home, Yang Cui stood at the bench and looked at the courtyard beside her house. After she saw what Xiao Tianchang was doing, she almost fainted right away. Why? Because Xiao Tianchang dug a wide and deep drain below the wall of her house, and the drain was very deep. If it was deep then it was alright, but Xiao Tianchang put a lot of sharpened wooden pillars. One look and she knew why they were put there. Xiao Tianchang had seen Yang Cui, but he ignored her and continued doing his own work. Only when the sky went dark did he stop and went back home. Yang Cui kept on looking at Xiao Tianchang, up until he went back to his house. She retracted her gaze. Going down from the bench and standing in her own courtyard, she was absent-minded. Did he loathe her that much? Just for preventing her to do like what she did today, stealthily climbing the wall and entering his house, he would really do this kind of thing. Yang Cui's mother, Madame Chen, saw Yang Cui standing on the courtyard when she came back, and Yang Cui's eyes were filled with tears, causing Madame Chen to get worried instantly. Madame Chen had 2 sons and 1 daughter. This daughter grew a pretty face and she was pampered and spoiled, delicately brought up, in hope that she would marry a wealthy man. Now, her daughter actually cried and she became worried. "Cuier, what happened to you? Who bullied you?" Seeing her own mother, Yang Cui cried loudly with a wah and told Madame Chen what happened today. Although Madame Chen was peeved that her own daughter favored a hunter without any parents, and also climbed the wall to enter other people's house, but she still minded more about her daughter's wronged. Hearing Yang Chui's words, she was very much dissatisfied towards Xiao Tianchang. In her eyes, her daughter was that good and she liked Xiao Tianchang, which was his fortune. Yet he was not happy about this and actually angered her daughter, truly was ridiculous. Madame Chen possessing this kind of high assessment was because of her two sons. One was a shop owner at the town and the other was scholar. Her daughter was a scholar's sister, she could marry whoever she wanted. What right did a poor hunter have to choose? The more she thought about it, the angrier Madame Chen became. She casually comforted her daughter and then walked towards the neighboring house. Yang Chui only wanted to complain to her mother and did not have any other motive, so when she saw her mother's move, she got into a panic. If Madame Chen ran to Xiao Tianchang's house to make a ruckus, then she would have no more face to see other people. "Mom, what are you doing? He let you got wronged. Of course mother would help you get justice." Madame Chen said as if it was the most obvious thing in the whole world, then patted her daughter's hand reassuringly. "My daughter, don't you worry. Mother will definitely make him apologize to you." Yang Chui's face became ugly instantly. How could her mother be this stupid? "Mother, don't do that. If you go now and other people know about it, then I wouldn't be able to face other people anymore." Although Madame Chen was unhappy, but after hearing Yang Chui's words, she nodded her head. In her heart, she was loathed Xiao Tianchang very much. Of course, Yang Chui did not think of this. The next day, Madame Chen saw Xiao Tianchang passed by her house's gate and made a "pei" sound. She then muttered something, "Toad wants to eat goose's meat." Hearing these words, Xiao Tianchang ignored it. The person did not mention name nor surname, and he would not go up and acknowledge that it was him she was talking about. The days after, because of the rumors in the village about her daughter, Madame Chen's face was very ugly. "Chuier, talk to me clearly. What exactly happened?" Madame Chen looked at her own daughter and angrily said. These past few days, once she went out, she would be pointed by others. At first, she thought it was weird, then she knew that they were talking about her daughter. Moreover, the words were very unpleasant to hear. They said a maiden actually climbed the wall to enter other person's house and things like those. The words spoken were extremely ugly to hear, making Madame Chen not having any face. From the time her smallest son became a scholar, this had never happened. Yang Chui's facial expression changed and looked at her mother wrongly. "Mother, you cannot blame me for these. These are all Ning Mengyao, that woman's fault." Then she said those matters out, and after hearing this, Madame Chen's face changed. That SL*T. She dared to splash dirty water on us. Madame Chen gritted her teeth as she spoke. Of course she ran over to Ning Mengyao's house gate and pointed at it as she angrily scolded. "Ning Mengyao, USL*T, get out." Chapter 40. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Translator. Vesper Ning Mengyao, who was in the courtyard teaching the children, could not help but frown. She lowered her head and looked at little Mu and the others. "Go read the book by yourself, I will come out to see what is the matter." "Yes, teacher." A few children ignored the voice outside and earnestly read their books as they reviewed the things Ning Mengyao just taught. Ning Mengyao walked out the door and saw a middle-aged woman standing at the gates, her hand fixed at her waist, looking like a shrew. Who is this older lady? Although the other person said unpleasant words, but Ning Mengyao's excellent upbringing did not let her spoke out nasty words. Madame Chen hung her pair of eyes, disdainfully looked at the girl in front of her. With a face full of dislike. "You are that outsider, Ning Mengyao." Slightly knitting her brow, Ning Mengyao looked at Madame Chen with a shred of unhappiness. "I am Ning Mengyao, I don't know this lady is. No wonder Xiao Tianchang, that penniless guy, would speak on your behalf. It turns out that you have a foxy appearance." Madame Chen ridiculed Ning Mengyao, her tone and expression was filled with disdain. No need to think, Ning Mengyao had figured out who this person was, should be that girl named Yang Chui's mother. This older lady, if you're here to say these, then I apologize, I am busy, I do not have the time to listen to your nonsense. Saying this, Ning Mengyao turned and prepared to leave, but Madame Chen barred her way. Madame Chen pointed her finger to Ning Mengyao's face, angrily scolded. You shameless woman. You're shameless then fine, but you also implicate my daughter. Your kind of person should not stay in this White Mountain village. I will let my son tell the village head to let you get out this here. Originally, Ning Mengyao thought that since the other person was an elder, she would not say anything and did not want to search for trouble. It was just that she did not thought that middle-aged woman would not let her off, making her unhappy. What kind of qualification do you have to make me leave this place? Ning Mengyao stretched out her hand and put Madame Chen's hand aside, flinging the finger that was pointing at her as she calmly spoke. Madame Chen looked at Ning Mengyao and gloatingly said. My son is White Mountain Village's only scholar. The words of a scholar, a lord, who dared not to listen. Ning Mengyao nodded her head to indicate she understood. When Madame Chen thought that she was threatened, she suddenly heard Ning Mengyao spoke. So that is why. Then I would like to ask that scholar. Is personally trespassing private property something the younger sister of a scholar should do? Having this kind of sister who does not have any restraint, just using her whole heart trying to run to a man's house, can he throw away this face? In ancient times, a person who had fame like this, placed the utmost importance to their own reputation. Madame Chen wanted to refute but Ning Mengyao smilingly continued. And I also want to ask him, does he, a scholar, feels embarrassed to have a mother like this? Madame Chen's behavior right now was flaunting and felt that she was high above. As the mother of a scholar, she felt herself above others was fine, but if she wanted to use this status to oppress others and do bad things, then that would be throwing away the scholar's face. Madame Chen was rendered speechless by Ning Mengyao's sentences. Although her son did not prevent her from flaunting off, or treat others like she was the one above them, but he could not endure her using his reputation to do bad things. This matter, only using a bit of brain, people could differentiate who was right and who was wrong. She was just recklessly saying those threats but did not think that an orphan would knew that much. Normally, when other heard scholar and lord these words, they would tremble fearfully. But not only was she not afraid, she even turned the table and threatened her. Bvec if she wanted to do something today, then when the time comes, then she would be finished. If the matter went big, then it would have no benefit to any of them. Older lady, do you have any other matter? Madame Chen did not say anything, but the bright flash in her eyes made Ning Mengyao's mouth slightly rose. Madame Chen measured Ning Mengyao up and said. Seeing that you are a pitiful orphan, I will not do anything to you. Just apologize to my daughter and promise in front of the whole villagers that you will not seduce Qiao Tianchang, that poor lad. That tone was as if everything should be like that, making Ning Mengyao could not help but laugh. This person really felt herself to be high above.